Hello. Good to see you today. I missed last week, Tuesday. It was my birthday, so I think I'm let off the hook. Although I do continue to do tidying up each day in some way. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it each day in some way, just pointing out that that is something that works for me. I notice something that doesn't feel balanced or grounded or clean or whatever, and it'll start to drive me nuts. I can't stand that. So welcome. I'm Joan Silva. I am your money dream coach. I do also work with people around tidying up. Now, what does that really mean? We have to have certainly a definition of tidy up ourselves, and that means something different for each and every one of you. So let's begin today with talking about it is the season to let go. I was on a community call earlier today, and her platform is Way of Joy and helping us find our way to joy. And Vicki reminded us that this is the season of letting go. And one of the things that she spoke to with letting go is to, how did she put it? Hold it lightly. And I agree with that. I think when it comes to tidying up, we need to hold it lightly. So let me welcome you. Thank you very much, Daisy and Laura and Susan and Nora and Patricia for joining me today. Hey, Susan, anybody would like to ask a question, feel free to put it on the post here. Love having questions and enjoy the feedback that I might get. Hey, Janice, I'm so glad you joined me. I just finished watching your live Facebook, although I didn't get to do it live today. So let's talk about letting go. It isn't easy, is it? Hey, dude, that's my brother joining in. Thank you very much. I appreciate seeing you, Doug. There is a way that we let go, and it isn't easy. So one of the things, the minimalism fellas, their names Josh and Ryan. By the way, if you haven't seen the documentary on minimalism, I highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's less than an hour and a half. One of the things that they spoke to is that living debt-free, living minimal, living tidy up is not easy. And the reason it's not easy is because society and other aspects of life encourage us to do the opposite. So it's easier to just kind of go with the flow than it is to say, okay, I'm not going that direction. That's not for me. Isn't always necessarily something that's simple to do. Although I believe that tidying up, once we really get clear on what it is we want to let go, is much simpler than we make it. So maybe you can tell me what it is you're in the process of trying to let go. What is that thing? What is that aspect? As I tell you, I got an email from a past client and someone I stay connected to. She had read my Tidy Up Tuesdays, which I send out every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, on a Tuesday in email, I send out a video or an article around tidying up. And she emailed me the Tuesday it went out, which was last week. And she said, you know, Joan, what do you do with things like bottles of alcohol if you no longer drink or you no longer want them? And I know she knew that I had been sober for 7 years, a little more than 7 years, going on 8. Gave up alcohol that long ago. And it took me a bit to realize I had this box in the garage that we'd had for quite a while that had hard liquor and some wine still in there. And as I was tidying up the garage, that box was awfully heavy. And I thought, what the heck is in this thing? Mind you, how many of us have done that? We're like, we don't even know what's in it. And I went, whoa. So she and her husband do not drink. They have some family members that have really struggled with alcoholism, and so certainly giving it to someone. I don't think it's politically correct any longer to give alcohol unless you know that what they really enjoy and that they are drinkers. My husband has gotten client gifts that way where they've handed him a really beautiful bottle of wine, but we don't drink. He doesn't tell them that. It's not a role he chooses to play. He says thank you, and we do one of two things. We give it to somebody we know would appreciate the bottle of wine and they do drink it, or we toss it. And that was her question. She said, I feel kind of uncomfortable just taking and putting it in the trash can. What if somebody pulls it out of there? And I'm like, that's the thing about letting go. You let go and you let it move on. And you don't determine what happens to it. You just let it go and release. I think that's the part that's sometimes the hardest, because we think, oh, well, it's valuable, I could sell it. Oh, somebody could get use out of it, I'll give it away. And then before we know it, guess what we're doing? We're holding on to it till we find that opportunity, either to have a garage sale or to actually give it to someone or the person to finally come get it. And before we know it, it's just piled up somewhere else. So one of the things that I had suggested for her was to just open up the trash can and toss it in. Hi, Deborah. So glad you're joining us today. And one of her friends said, open up the bottle and pour it down the drain. And I thought of a feng shui ritual that I had done years ago to do energy clearing on all the drains of your house. And my friend Nancy is on this video live, and she's not the one that suggested it, but she is a feng shui professional. And one of the things that we were suggested is to go to every single drain in the house, and we put a particular type of alcohol down, a certain amount, with a ritual to clean and clear the energy of the drain. There's reasons for it, which, by the way, that's not my area of expertise, so we'll have to ask a feng shui person to answer that for us, won't we, if that's the ritual that they would suggest. But when her friend said, don't worry about it, just pour it down the drain. And she was a little concerned about where does it go? Will it harm the atmosphere? And to me, it probably depends on the wine, but let's face it, alcohol and wine is usually natural, is it not? Obviously, there's sometimes some chemicals in it, but on the whole, it's pretty darn natural. Probably better than putting prescription drugs poured in our toilet, which isn't healthy. And that does affect our water supply. Years ago, when I was a member of a nonprofit, we had a speaker come in, and they were from the water district. And that's one of the things they said has been the most difficult is the hand sanitizers we use, because we're so into the antibacterial stuff in our soaps and our the gels that we use. Everything's antibacterial. That chemical has really been affecting our water, making it more and more difficult for the districts to get rid of it. And medications. And obviously medications that go through our body systems. That's not something you're going to stop. However, when you're trying to release medications, there are places that actually take used medications. And I won't say that about alcohol. However, my guidance was don't hang on to it looking for the ideal answer that this person will show up. The other thing that happened when she was letting go is that because she is a baker and a chef, she might need a tablespoon or something of a nice quality wine or alcohol. And so she hung on to a bottle for that reason. And then she realized that's ridiculous. It's 1 tablespoon or so. If I really want it, I'll go get it for that particular project or baking. Hey, Lucy, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And Kim, Roxanne. So what is growing and growing, Roxanne? You said, let's see. So me, I'll sell it. I'll have a box in my garage. Yes. I have no problem with a box in the office or in the house. Many times a clearing suggestion I make is if they've had piles and they just never get to it and it just starts to wear on you, your energy's sucked into it and drained. People think that they can work at their desk with the pile off to the side. They don't see it. You do. It energetically drains, even if it doesn't bother you at the moment, because some of us really are much more tolerant of a pile. And yes, you're right, Roxanne. It'll be like, I have that box of things because I'm going to sell it. I'm going to do a garage sale. I also don't have a problem with that, except the longer you keep it around, the less likely you'll get rid of it. Suddenly you'll find it valuable, as my friend did when she kept a bag of books around. Suddenly she was digging in the bag and getting books out of there. If she had let go of them out of her sight, out of her mind, out of her home, out of her office, she wouldn't have been able to do that, because we then start to question, do I really need it? So going back to the fact that we just need to let go, if we convince ourselves that it's useful in some way, of course it is. Unless it's some ratted tattered t-shirt that we might have that has holes here and we're just comfy in it and we think we're going to give it away to, I don't know, Salvation Army or Goodwill or somebody who could use it. Well, no, I think it's time to let her go. And I appreciate that we want to give to somebody who could use it. I'm going to encourage you to not see that as an answer for yourself when you're letting go. Just let it go. One of the things that I did, because books are my thing, somebody asked the other day, so I love to read and I have books. Here's the real question. Are you reading them? And I thought, wow, there's a powerful tidying up question. Am I reading them? One thing to buy a book because you have a few in the stack ahead of it and you really are going through and reading them and then releasing them. It's another thing when they end up on the shelf or on your bedside table or in the stack, and I have some of these too. The energy of the thing when it came in is all you needed. You were done with it. You don't need to read it. And that's where you have to kind of sit with it and go, is this true? Will I ever read this? And be honest. Here's where honesty comes in. Nobody else is going to question you on it. That's none of their business. It's an inner question. You say, okay, Joan, there's that stack of 10 books. Really cool titles. By the way, I just got one called Video Marketing Rules, How to Win in a World Gone Video. Since I'm doing more on those, I thought, let me learn this. I may never read the book. Right now, I plan to. At some point, I have to ask myself, okay, was just the energy of it coming into all I needed? Or maybe I open it up and I read it to about halfway. Oh, okay, great, no problem. Maybe that's all I needed to know, and it's time to let her go. So that's the kind of thing I want to talk to you about with letting go. And I want to go back to what Roxanne said about the things for the garage sale. Many of us can make money on things. And I get it. I know that somebody I know, she has a box, and as she removes things, let's just say there's a knickknack on this shelf over here, and you're like, that's really cute. I think I could probably sell that to someone or give that away. Okay, she keeps it in the box for a very short period of time. And if she either A, doesn't do anything with it, like post it on Craigslist or put it on some kind of a Facebook, selling place, whatever way you choose. If I haven't done an action, or if it hasn't sold or been moved on its way out, set a deadline for yourself. And we're talking a short deadline. I don't want to disappoint you, but it doesn't mean a year. Some things, of course, we box up and we put aside and we let that rest. And if we've done nothing with it in a number of months, that is a clutter clearing concept, that I haven't done anything, I've labeled it, I know what's in it, I'm not getting rid of something that I find valuable, that really is truly valuable, then I just let go of it. Sometimes it's to take the whole thing and put it in my trunk of my car and take it over to Salvation Army, Goodwill, whatever. Sometimes it's put it in the trash can, depending on what it is. Did you know that most people don't want your clothes? It's amazing. Obviously, certain quality clothes we do, but some things we don't. So keep that in mind too. Recently heard that the fashion industry is 52 times a year. It's no longer seasonal like winter and summer or 4 seasons. It's now 52. They want you to buy something different, a whole new season every week. So our clothes and clothing have become as inexpensive as rice and beans. Actually, that's probably more expensive than what clothing is valued at once we've had it and we no longer find it seasonal or useful. So what is it that you're trying to get rid of? Pick an area. Don't try to do it all at once. Don't even try and do a whole room at once. I suggest 15-minute increments, short little bursts. Or what happens for me, see if this is true for you. Suddenly that area will just agitate. And I just can't stand it another minute. Maybe it's been hanging out there for a while and I just didn't recognize the energy drain. And all of a sudden, here it comes. Yes, I'll work on that area. Spoke to a client this morning about that. She had areas of clutter and some things were happening in her business that I said, one of the things is look at clearing and letting go when our business is feeling stuck or tight or things are out of sorts. And for each of us, we have to see what that is. What is the area that's really causing me to be closed and not open? And one of the things that she said is the phone just wasn't ringing as regularly as she would like. And we talked about what that looked like, what that sounded like, how often, who is it? So what's closing the doors to it? And one of the things she mentioned was some piles of clutter, not only in her home office, but her actual external office. And I suggested get a box, take and put it all in a box, close the lid, label it, put it aside. If you can't put it where it's out of sight, put a cute tablecloth over it and put a vase on top. Make it look nice. Then calendar time that you're going to spend 15 minutes with it. 15 minutes, close the lid, put the tablecloth on it, put the vase on it. Isn't necessarily ideal. I personally do better where I just purge it all at once, but that's me. That may not be you. And if you think you are like that and you're not doing it, that's a big sign that I need to do it in shorter increments. And I need to put it in a way that it visually, energetically feels kinder to me. The environment, my own visual, looking at it. And I have found that works as well. And there are often times, as I say, with filing paper, usually 90% or more we don't need to keep anyway, but we think we do when we pile it up. And if we really take a minute and go, wait a minute, I don't actually need all that, we can actually take the whole box and toss it. Now, for her, she's in an industry that she has to watch client files and keeping client files for certain industry length time requirement. So I said, okay, as you're putting this stuff in a box, you can pull client files out and put that in a separate box, label it as such. That way, if you never go in that box for weeks, when your 15 minutes comes up, you know there's nothing really in there that probably is all that valuable. Unless it's for tax purposes. And by the way, there's just only so much that you need for that as well. So I hope that this is helpful about letting go, and notice that this is the season to let go. We're moving into winter where we tend to hunker down. So now is the perfect time to start letting go of some of that so that when you hunker down, it's not all piled around you and suffocating you. Again, I'm Joan Silva. I love to do tidying up both in your money and in your things. I do have every 2 week via email, a video or articles, because I do write for a magazine once a month. And that I only share with my newsletter groupies. Not that you're groupies, I'm kidding. And I want to be sure that you get whatever tidying up help you need. I also offer some hand holding, and I don't come into your home or office. That really is, there's many organizers out there, fabulous ones that can help you with that. I really do. Get on a Zoom like face-to-face, although you're not face with me, I'm face to you. We go face-to-face and we set a vision, an intention, steps. What is it that I need? I need, not somebody else says is I'm supposed to do. Work on those steps, and then you come back and you say, did it work? What didn't? Be glad to help you with that too. You can get in touch with me, joan@joansilva.com. That's my email. My website, and I have a Tidy Up Tuesday section on my website, yourmoneydream.com is my website, so you can contact me that way too. And thank you very much for joining me on this Tidy Up Tuesday, and it is the season to let go.